Good morning still, Congresswoman. It's good to see you, and I appreciated the time we had when we met in my office a little bit ago. I appreciate your willingness to serve and that of your family. I wanted to follow up before turning to a couple of questions I have on a line of questioning we heard from Senator Murray. I take it from her questions and your answers that you have stated that if you are directed by the president to take an action that would break the law, you would follow the law.
Absolutely. We'll follow the law and the Constitution. I do not believe the president would ask me to break the law.
I understand that as the pat response from nominees. We've seen a lot of evidence that he will in the last 4 weeks. And then I wanted to follow up on Senator Murphy's point about Mr. Musk's access to DOL information. And this is not a question, but I just want you to understand why we are focused on this. Mr. Musk spent $250 million to get Donald Trump elected. And since Inauguration Day, we have found out that the State Department was planning to give Tesla a $400 million contract for armored vehicles. Now we find that Elon Musk has access to the Department of Transportation records and data systems when, in fact, he's being investigated by DOT because of multiple inquiries into the safety of Tesla vehicles and the deaths they may have caused. Then we find out that he's got access to the Department of Labor information. He's got programmers with him when we know that he's being investigated by the Department of Labor. So it seems like Mr. Musk is getting a big payback from Mr. Trump right in the first month of this administration, and that concerns us greatly. Now, I did want to turn to a couple of issues that you and I talked about. We have a shared interest in increasing access to apprenticeship and workforce training, and there's been real bipartisan focus on that. If confirmed, will you expand these programs, and how will you prioritize rural communities in this effort? Because getting apprenticeship programs in rural communities to fit the actual economy and workforce needs in those rural communities is a pretty unique thing, and I'd just like your thoughts on that.
Well, thank you, Senator, and I enjoyed our conversation as well. Again, a lot of this information that and experience comes from being a former mayor, and then having the experience as a member of Congress as well to understand how the laws are made. But in the rural areas, oftentimes forgotten. It's a forgotten parts of a lot of our states. One of the things we talked about is the hubs, and I think I talked about that with Senator Hickenlooper as well. And knowing that there are programs that are going to skill the workforce in those rural communities. And for instance, an example in Oregon, one of the hubs I think I mentioned to you and Senator Hickenlooper was, it's a real direct, while it's not an apprenticeship program, until we can fortify or work toward possibly what that looks like in other parts of certain industries. We talked, I think, about the healthcare industry specifically, is working with our community colleges and our local technical colleges to have those certificate based so that we have that workforce right in those communities. And when we take that information from our businesses and we kind of back into degrees for our students in order to do that. But I look forward to working on a bipartisan level to really fortify those apprenticeship programs so that we can have that skilled workforce.
Well, I would look forward to working in a bipartisan way on that. One of the things we could do is to pass the bipartisan bicameral reauthorization of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act that we agreed to last Congress. So that's an important way we could move forward. With 2.6 million workplace injuries and illnesses reported annually, we have to do more to protect the health and safety of our workers. Yet workers still have to fight for common sense protections like air conditioning for delivery drivers during the scorching heat of the summer and properly fitting protective equipment for construction workers. If confirmed, how will you coordinate and prioritize workforce safety across all of DOL's agencies?
Oh, thank you, Senator. One of, again, the remits for the Department of Labor is to protect the workplace, make sure that they're free of hazard, make sure that we're protecting the American worker. Nobody expects to go to work in the morning and be unsafe or be hurt. So it will be the role to work with the experts in all of the departments across the Department of Labor to make sure that we're honoring the mission of the Department of Labor.
And I would appreciate that. I also appreciate the fact that you rightly respected the expertise of some of our federal workforce there because they know a lot about workplace safety, and I don't want them to be subject to these mass layoffs we're seeing. I will submit for the record a question about paid leave. We were able to expand it for federal workers under President Trump's first term. I'd appreciate your thoughts on that. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Senator.
Senator Hassan.